All right, back here on Lewis Live on TLV1. You know, I really can't think of a better intro song for my next guest. He is a four-time IFL champion, a multiple IFL Bowl champion. He is just the gamer. He's the guy you want to lead your team when it's time to win the big game, and he has a very interesting story to tell about this season. On the line right now, four-time IFL champion Adi Hakami. Adi, welcome back to Lewis Live.
How's it going, Ari?
It's going good. So let's get right down to it because there's this story floating around, and we want to hear from the horse's mouth. Let's go all the way back to January. Tel Aviv Sabres, your former team, playing the Japan Rebels, a matchup of the title game from last year. A lot of bad blood there. We'll get to that later on. It's a back-and-forth game. A lot of people have the Rebels winning the championship, but this game was tough for them. You guys take a lead with the touchdown. There's then some bad calls in a row. What happens next?
In my opinion, basically, the game kind of got out of control to a point where there was a lot of ejections and basically stuff that you don't want to see in any sport. You don't want to see, refs yelling at the fans in the stands, stuff like that. Basically brought our coach to the point and our team to the point where we decided, the coach decided basically that we should kind of get up and go.
Okay. Which you guys did, and that made the newspapers, and that was a story. No one knew exactly why that you guys left. But the reason, basically, the refereeing calls, how the referees acted, it was a little too much, and you guys decided to go. That's the basic reason why you guys left.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens then at that point? Because Bezalel Freeman came on this program, and he said, we're going to have to levy a punishment. We have to teach a lesson. And he decided the punishment was the Sabres were not allowed to compete in the playoffs. First of all, did you think that punishment was too strict? Number one, considering that you guys are the three-time champions and defending champions. And number two, because the referees were acting a little improper. Did you think that punishment was too much?
Honestly, I don't have an opinion on whether or not it was too strict or not. I think it was just a punishment that was irrelevant in our league, because it's an amateur sport. Because in our league, if you tell a bunch of players, well, you can't play on this team, you can't play in the playoffs on this team, well, then the team will just basically break up, and that's what happened. The team just broke up.
Yeah, it's one of the strangest things I've ever seen because the Sabres are defending champs, but then you look at the IFL website, they're not there anymore, and it's kind of comical if it wasn't so strange at the same time too. But that is what happened. Now
we were erased.
Yeah, you guys were erased. Not that someone beat you on the field, not that someone took it from you, but someone erased it from you, and that's obviously not appropriate. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, at this point, the Sabres are not in the league, but the players on the team want to go play somewhere else.
Right.
My understanding is everyone was basically allowed to do that except you. Is that correct? Or two other people?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
Basically, the players went off and joined different teams, including myself, and then the league came back and said, well, we want to have a committee that'll decide who will be allowed to play and who will not be allowed to play. Based on, a secret meeting that we will not discuss, and we will let you know who's allowed and who's not allowed.
Okay, sounds like Watergate. Okay, a secret meeting. All right, fair enough. So they have the secret meeting, and they come out of this meeting, and they tell you, Adi Hakami, three-time IFL champion at the time, that you can't play the rest of the year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did they tell you why?
No.
That's a problem, isn't it? Shouldn't you know why?
No, yeah, I think every in every aspect of of some kind of an authoritative power deciding over something, there should be some kind of a reasoning behind it or an explanation, something, But no, I didn't get a reason.
Now, did you you asked Bezalel Freeman, the commissioner, and he would not give you an answer? I mean, what did he say?
There was no response from Bezalel.
Wow.
At all. Yeah.
That's pretty strange. Again, we're on the line right now with Adi Hakami, now four-time IFL champion. Now, I'm going to play some X-Files music in my head, and let's do conspiracy theory game, okay, Adi? Let's do this. Last year in the title game, your team is winning, but Salo Freeman, the commissioner now, happened to be the coach of the Rebels.
That's correct.
You guys are up several touchdowns. You're about to kneel. All of a sudden, you fake the kneel, Adi, if you remember. I don't know if you forgot or not. Threw a touchdown, looked at the Rebels fans, showed a face, all that kind of stuff. Do you feel Salo Freeman took his power as commissioner and punished you for that act that you did against his team last year?
I don't know if it's a speculation, but I don't know. I can't say something like that. To tell you the truth.
But you could see how potentially someone would think that, because that's kind of where my mind went when I first found out that you were, not going to play this year.
I guess I could see how someone could see it that way, sure.
All right, very good. That's what I want to hear. Okay, so Salo Freeman's not giving you an answer. He still hasn't. The board didn't. But at the end of the day, you were on the field in the IFL title game as a member of the Pioneers. How did that happen?
I joined the Pioneers somewhere around mid-season, even though throughout on and off with the league and basically allowed to play, not allowed to play, allowed to play, and all that stuff. In the end, I joined the Pioneers as a backup quarterback, helped out where I could. Pioneers are a good organization, very, good coaching staff, good group of guys. And
enough with the jolly stuff. You had to sue the league to make that happen, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So now you filed this lawsuit, and just to be clear, now you're a successful guy in real life. You have the Bourbon Street Brewery, but I mean you had to pay for these attorneys, right? It wasn't like the IFL had some players union.
Right, of course.
So you're paying out of pocket for these attorneys.
Out of pocket.
And lawyers are not cheap, people. We all know that.
No, they're not.
I understand that you won the lawsuit, and then the IFL didn't agree right away. Is that true? Tell us about that aspect.
Basically, I got what I wanted in the lawsuit for the, the playing part, the being allowed to play, immediately. Actually, it was very, very quick. There wasn't, we didn't have to go back a second time into court. And the league, folded and said, well, you could play. And, so, I went and joined the Pioneers, and then what ended up happening was at the league meetings, basically the Pioneers ended up taking a lot of blame for my actions.
Huh. Okay.
So the Pioneers were all of a sudden, being attacked for taking me on, even though the league had no, objection anymore to me playing.
All right, so
I think that the biggest thing that bothers me is that when we're dealing with amateur sports and an amateur league, where basically everyone is paying out of pocket to play,
right?
And everyone is there doing it, for the love of the game and for the love of for just playing football in Israel, and no one's getting paid. I hope. I think it's very important that anyone should be allowed to play. It doesn't matter if it's me or anyone else. Like, anyone should be allowed to play, unless disciplinary reasons. But that wasn't the case here.
Yeah, Mr. Kraft, billionaire owner of the Patriots, pays a lot of money, donates a lot of money to the IFL so people can play. That is the idea. You were not allowed to. And would it help? Salo Freeman, when he came on the show in January, one of the strange things about it was he contacted me, said he was going to come on the show. No other player was willing to come on my show. They said they weren't allowed to. Was there a gag order from Salo Freeman?
I am not aware.
Okay.
At all.
All right, because it was a strange thing that he came on and no other players would come on and talk about. But that
maybe the Rebels coaching staff or something didn't want people talking about it. That's reasonable.
Okay. All right, fair enough with that. Now, again, as I talked about, you're a successful guy in real life. Football, though, is a shelf-life sport. There's only a certain amount of years you can play. One of those years was taken away from you this year. Would it help? Would it help anything if Salo Freeman A, apologized, or B, at least explained what happened and why the decision was made? Would that at least give you some type of resolution?
No, I think this whole story is in the past. And I'm very happy that it's in the past, and while looking to move forward, and I'm playing next year. I guess it was inevitable. I thought maybe I'd retire after this year, but next year I'm playing, and hopefully, get to be a part of a team for the fifth championship.
Wow. All right. That's a pretty classy move. So is your plan then to stay with the Pioneers next season?
I don't know.
Okay.
The Pioneers are a good organization. I'm definitely involved in the Pioneers team, and it's far away. I don't know where I'll be next year.
And the status of the Sabres, do they try to reinstate themselves? I'm sure Saeed Abilafia is mad up a storm. I mean, his team was taken away. Saeed likes to plot stuff. I mean, is he going to try to start another league? What's going to happen with the Sabres at the end of the day?
Well, for what I hear, the management staff of the Sabres is putting it all back together.
Okay.
There's even rumors of John Sharon coming back to coach. That's something that, you want to keep an eye on. Probably the best football coach in the country.
Oh, yeah.
If he's back, I don't know. It's going to be tough for a lot of players to say no to come play, to not come play for him.
All right, so it's very possible you could go back to the Sabres.
It's very possible, sure.
All right. Well, time will tell. Certainly a good thing to watch, very interesting. And Batsal Freeman, if you're not listening live, I will send you this tape. If you'd like to come on, next week and explain what the heck happened, we would love to have you on the program. And obviously that would be the right thing to do. Adi, thank you for the time. I always enjoy watching you play, and you've been on my show before. Obviously, it's always fun when you come on. Van down by the river. I've never forgotten that story. And of course, if it's NBA playoff time, NHL playoff time, they want to grab a beer, have a good time. Where should they go?
Oh, it's just Bourbon Street, and let's go Rangers.
There you go. Let's go Rangers. Go to Bourbon Street and go watch the games. All right, Adi,
Thanks
total
a lot,
pleasure.
Ari.
Thank you, Adi. Really appreciate it. Be well.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now, Adi did a great tie-in for me because he talked about John Sharon might come back, rumors of that. He's my next guest. Stay tuned for that. This is Lewis Live on TLV1.